Alcoholic basics. Gonna play with rubber cement and its masking possibilities. Hang on. Howdy, howdy everyone, this is Clara Lawrence. We're gonna do an interesting alcoholic basics video. This time we're gonna play with rubber cement. Now I've been teaching you different techniques that I would use with different mediums. Some are transferable, some are not. So applying color is one thing. Controlling an area where you don't want color to go is another thing that is usually addressed with working with different mediums. This is rubber cement, and we're going to use it as a masking solution. So we're going to apply it to, I've got some Yupo heavy paper here, and apply it to this, dry, put some ink on top, see how that works. And then we're also going to put some alcohol ink down first, apply this, and then apply more ink on top of that, and then remove it also. So we're going to see how it behaves on top of our existing ink and no ink at all. So I guess the first thing we need to do is put some ink down so we get this one prepared. So let's see, I got some new colors in, and I guess we ought to utilize some of those new colors. So let's see. All right, I got some pinky tones, some coral, and I'm gonna throw in some yellow. All right, so I've got the piñata colors, some pink, coral, and yellow, and we're gonna go for something bright, and that'll give us our base. Let's see, get the alcohol all over, and I'm just going to do a simple blend in the background, so nothing real fancy dancy. That pink is really bright. Not that I'm complaining. If you guys know me by now, I like my brights. You also know it's a new ink because I haven't done my little yellow, my little colored caps yet, which come in handy. All right. I don't know what that is. Stuff. That's enough to get us going there. All right, I'm gonna put this guy to the side real quick, just to give it a chance to completely dry. And what I mean by that is, since I laid it down flat, it's gonna have some ink on the back. I'm not that worried about it with tester pieces. I kind of made a mess. Big time. All right. All right, let's get us another paper. Now this one I'm gonna apply the rubber cement directly on top of. I'm gonna see if I can do a finish line, and then I'm gonna see if I can do a bigger area. So that way we can see how it does with both applications. All right. And I haven't messed with this stuff since school. Now this stuff is very easy to peel up, but it's definitely easier if it's completely dry. So I'm gonna do a large area. I'm gonna see if I can get some brush strokes at the end of it. And then see if I can square it off here a little bit. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Close it up. Okay, for those who are sensitive to smells, rubber cement, smelly. Let's see, there you go. Now you can see where it's shiny is where I have applied it. So just some ribbon going down and then a big old blob. So let's see how this guy is going. It's dry enough. You hit it with a paper towel super quick. All right. I wouldn't normally do that on a nice piece because you'll end up having some kind of runoff at the edges, and that's not so great. So, but in this case, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, all right. So we're gonna do the same kind of thing. I'm gonna do some light brush strokes and then do a blob. And that way we have a good comparison of, you know what? I'm gonna hit this with the heat just one more time. If you guys, there's another video that I did where we used Scotch tape on some Yupo and then peeled it off. Now, I did it on a piece that was very, very, very dry. In fact, it had been dry for weeks, okay, to be honest with you. So if you're gonna do Scotch tape or any kind of masking solution on top of something that has been painted already, make sure it's really, really dry before you do. Even if you've got to wait a day, better be safe than sorry. All right, time for squiggles. Oops, got to have a blob. This used to be the go-to type of glue to adhere papers down, like in the office area or in school, especially the art schools, a long time ago. All right, little brush strokes at the end. And the reason for that is catching details. Of course, there's not too much bristles to really get brush strokes, but it'll help. All right, I'm gonna pause this for a bit and pick it back up because it's gonna take a little time to dry, and you know, it's just not that exciting watching glue dry. But I'll see if I can show you this real quickly. So it's on there. Okay, so I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so the rubber cement is dry, and I wanted to show you, it dries to kind of a matte-ish kind of finish. And it's also a little bit on the tacky side. Now, if you want to, what they used to do is you apply a coat on a piece of paper, you apply a coat on another piece of paper, you let it dry, and then you put them together. It's kind of like contact cement that contractors use. So that's the stuff. And it also has a little bit, I don't know if you can see it here, a little bit of a yellow tinge to it. You can see it more when it's thicker. Okay. Get it to focus. Yeah. So it has a little bit of a yellow tint to it. Okay. So let's apply some more ink and see how this guy works. All right. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And what I'm going to just do is put some color on a sponge, because I think that'll be the fastest way just to apply some color. Because we're not looking at making artwork right now, we're just looking at techniques to help you make the artwork yourself. So I've got a sponge brush I was using for some stencils. It's still got a little bit of copper on there, but I'm going to add some blue violet to it, and so it'll be very different from this color. I wanted something that was contrasty so that you could really see the difference. And when I put something on a sponge brush, I always apply it over some kind of surface, whether it's paper towel or a paper plate in this case, but just definitely not over your artwork, because that could be problematic. Okay, so I'm just going to run this across just so that you can see how this stuff works. All right, apparently I need some more. Definitely need to hold it down. Hey, cut it out. All right, that one's applied, and I'm going to move it off to scooch. Okay. And this one, I could just simply apply some of this on there and a little bit of alcohol to maybe extend it out a little bit. It helps if you open the alcohol bottle. Especially since the white's in the background, it'll definitely have enough contrast there, so I'm not that worried about it. All right. Put that away. Close my alcohol. Move my alcohol inks away. Okay, normally if this were me doing some artwork, I would probably do some kind of seal coat over this as far as a spray. And let's see. This is the stuff that I use. I use the matte version. And what this does is it also puts a coating on there so that way when I go to peel up my masking solution, whatever the masking solution is, it doesn't come off on your hands and then you accidentally transfer it to an area that you don't want it, because that would be problematic. So, and all I'm going to do here is just simply, I'm rolling my finger across the top of it to grab it or to get it started. Sometimes you can peel it up in one big long strip. Sometimes not so much. But usually rubber cement is one of those things that will stick to itself. The more rubber cement you have balled up, the more you can use it to help pick up the other stuff. Well, this does not seem to be transferring, so that's a good thing. And remember, I wasn't really neat about applying it, and there's a reason for that. And that was to see how it would do with the fine details. All right. Now this one here, I'm gonna spin this around because I kind of squared this off at the end, and there's a reason for that one, and that was just to make it easier for me. I have to admit, I have never tried this with alcohol ink. I have tried it with other mediums before. Super impressed with it. Only got a little bit of transfer just then, I think. I don't know. So the fact that I'm not transferring it already is pretty cool. All right. Trying to get all the little bits together so when they stick to themselves, it makes it easy for cleanup. And I don't want this stuff loose around to accidentally get in my pieces because I almost always put resin on top of them. And you know how it is with resin and particles and stuff. So that did really, really well. It's showing a lot of nice fine line detail with the brush strokes there. Did a pretty good coverage, and granted I did it rather quickly. But even here, I mean, it's a nice solid line coming up and around, and you can see the real fine lines from the brushes, especially down in here. Now, the only downside that I can see, I shouldn't say the only downside, but the one downside I can see is that you almost have to use the brush that's in the can. So that does make it difficult, like, for example, you know, I do the horse or dragon paintings and stuff like that. It does make it difficult to paint a dragon with it. But if you have an area that's large and you want to mask it off and maybe use masking fluid in combination with this, it might work very well. So it does seem to be leaving the previous layer alone, so that's good. All right. Put it around again, same reason. They have a little rubber cement pickup erasers that actually look like little squares. They're about like that. And you can use them to kind of get it started, and it'll stick to the rubber cement eraser. I think they're just big blocks of rubber cement, to be honest with you. But with this alcohol ink, because it's going to be coating it with ink, I don't think they're necessary. Now, what I'm feeling here is I've got lots of little bits, brush bits, meaning the details, so it's giving me lots of tiny itty bitty textures of rubber cement that I'm picking up. So I'm gonna have a lot of particles floating around I need to clean up after this, which can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So, did I just smear that? No, okay. So use your hands with masking solution. You can usually figure out if you've got any more just from the particles. This is also where sealing it comes in handy too, so that you don't have to risk it. However, that's my hands there. They're fairly clean. There's a little bit of blue there and a little bit of blue there. And that's a very strong blue violet. So it's gonna show up if there's issues. Let me get this off my board real quick and I'll bring you in for a close-up. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is rubber cement on top of an already painted panel. And you can see those yellows and pinks and corals don't look like they got scratched up or marred at all. So that's really, really good. Kept a lot of detail on the application. Wait a minute, it just shifted colors there, sorry about that. Okay, and then this is just on white, or I should say a basic paper. So I'm trying to get it to focus there. So very clean paper, it didn't discolor the paper at all. And the ink came off nice and clean. So this has some real possibilities to it. And just use your imagination how you want to use the rubber cement. It also might do just fine on top of non-porous things like ceramics or glass or something like that you want to paint. I've seen a lot of people doing alcohol ink on those kind of things as well. Oh, or just like, you know, tiles, ceramic tiles. That would definitely work. Anyway, you guys have some fun with this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, but definitely hit notification bell so you get notified next time I put a video up. Later, guys.